Scottish seat at a European election. The party finished in fourth place in Scotland with just over 10% of the votes. The final results will be confirmed, with votes from the Western Isles counted later today. Well, Ukip's David Coburn is set to become the party's first Scottish MEP and joins us now from our Edinburgh studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
Nigel Farage says if you're elected, you'll inject something new into Scottish politics. What is that?
Well, basically we're going to be giving him something different. It's not going to be the same arguments you get from all the tarred old parties. All you see are the same old things. All the Scottish parties agree with each other more or less about everything on the sort of left-wing agenda. Now we're going to see something different. We're going to see a libertarian agenda, which I'll be pushing as hard as possible.
But ultimately you will just be a party of protest, won't you?
No, absolutely not. If you look what's happened all across the country, we're certainly not a party of protest. We've done extremely well in Scotland. The various establishment groups, including the BBC, whatever, kept us off the radio and treated us as if we were a party who didn't have any representatives. Though last time Ukip won, or came second rather, in the European election, and this time we've won. But they decided to keep us and treat us as a minor party, even though, quite frankly, we should have been treated as one of the established parties.
Well, the argument goes that you have no elected representatives in Scotland, but you'll be able to pursue...
This was a Europe-wide election and a British-wide election, so it's irrelevant. If we were standing for the Scottish Parliament, that would have been relevant, but
let's focus on the future, if you don't mind. You'll be able to pursue the ideology of Ukip, but as a single Scottish MEP, what will you do for Scotland?
Well, the first thing I would do is keep Scottish business and Scottish people aware of some of the crazy things going on in Europe, which will affect their businesses and their jobs.
Such as?
Well, all these mad sort of rules, regulations, restrictions.
What specifically? It's a very easy generalisation to say mad rules come from Brussels, but what specifically would you rail against?
Well, for the first thing I'd be against is the rules governing small businesses. I mean, there are so many restrictions put forward every week.
What specifically?
Specifically, goodness gracious, just come off the top of my head, I can't think, but there's so many of them.
Isn't that the problem? Isn't that? It's very easy to say, oh, Brussels is mad, they're sending out mad rules, but if you can't give us one specific example of that, then you aren't any more than a party of protest.
Well, I can. The health and safety regulations, every week they come out with more.
Well, give us a specific one then.
Oh, gosh. It's early in the morning. I haven't had any sleep. I'd say that the ones about health and safety at work. There's so many regulations that come through every week. Also, other problems that come through telling us what to do. There's 70% of our laws are made in Brussels. Take your pick.
Will you be keen to join forces with other parties of the right in Europe? What about Marine Le Pen's National Front, for instance?
Well, that's an issue not for me, thank God. That's an issue for Nigel Farage. He'll be dealing with that.
But would you be comfortable sitting in the European Parliament with the National Front from France?
Not particularly, but the thing about the European Parliament, it throws up extremely strange bedfellows. In order to get speaking rights, you have to chummy up with all sorts of people you wouldn't want to take home to see your mum, quite frankly.
But so you would potentially be happy to sit with them if you had to get those rights?
I wouldn't be comfortable at all with the Front National in France. I think they're a very unpleasant group of people. But this is not for me to decide. This is for Nigel to decide. But quite frankly, all parties, no matter which one, has to end up sitting next to people they wouldn't like.
But you've been keen to tell us, despite accusations from some of your opponents and some of those who protest against Nigel Farage, that you're not a racist party. One of the ways of confirming that, surely, is to make sure that you don't sit with people who hold what many would see as racist views.
You misunderstand how the European Parliament works. The European Parliament is made up of various diverse groups. You end up having to, as I said before, you have to work with people you don't particularly like.
But what about points of principle?
Well, we do have immense points of principle. The major principle we've got is getting out of the European Parliament. We want to dissolve the whole thing, so that's what we're working to achieve. And as I say, you end up having to deal with all sorts of people you wouldn't like. The Conservative Party do, the Labour Party do. All people have to deal with people we don't like over there. And that's the nature of the Parliament. That's why we want out of it. That's why we want rid of it.